So if you can't hear it, that of course is a Marine. So for those of you who had volunteered to work on the Rotary float in the Rose Parade this January and were disappointed when the Rose Parade was canceled, you got a little treat there too. Now, if you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated. And of course, for those of you in the back of the room who are wondering who was humming along with that, that would have been past President Steve Linder. Thank you to all the 25 Club members and others who helped with the setup. Kathy, Tony, Kathy Mahon, Tony Barnes, Krista Nichols, and Tony Kern. To Bill Steeren, who is going to be our Sergeant at Arms today. And for the members who are going to work on teardown. Also, thank you to Steve, past President Steve Linder, for acting as our paparazzi today. And I'm not sure who is our scribe today. Oh, there we go. Thank you for being our scribe. Nikki. Do we have any guests or visiting Rotarians today?
I'll introduce Kate in a couple of minutes as our new member, but I did want to mention her husband Pedro came to visit and see her new member in orientation today. So there's Pedro, please welcome him.
Good afternoon. We have Brian Flores, our only Rotary Exchange student. He's the only Rotary Exchange student in the district for this year. So let's give him a good hand for sticking it out, you know. It's Brian Flores from Peru.
Hello, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Austin. This is my girlfriend, Kelly. She's here with us for my induction.
Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians. Today, my mother is here as my guest.
I'd like to introduce Michael Flores. He's the Chief of Staff for Dr. Rose, who's our speaker today.
Thank you. Do we have any other guests or visiting Rotarians? Well, I'm not sure we've acknowledged our guest speaker today, who is not only a guest, but a visiting Rotarian.
Melody Rose from the Nevada System of Higher Education. Thank you so much for having me here.
And at this point in the program, we're going to jump right into inducting new members, because we can never have too many new members.
Hang on, let me get my map. Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have the pleasure of inducting two new members. We have both Austin, is it Wyrick or Wyrick? Wyrick and Kate Zavala. First, we're going to have Kirk introduce Austin, followed by Bill, not Bob, introducing Kate.
Good afternoon. So I've known Austin for several years, and he's one of those people that when somebody needs something and he gets a call, he suits up and shows up just like everybody in Rotary. So I figured that this would be a perfect place for him, and he's really looking forward to being of service.
Come up and say briefly what you're here.
Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Austin, for those of you who don't know me. First off, I want to say it's an honor to be a part of the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. I'm already off to a good start. Yeah. Also, I'd really like to thank Kirk for inviting me here. It's been a real pleasure to get to know some of you, and I really look forward to seeing how I can contribute to my community. Thank you.
And as previously mentioned, Austin has his girlfriend here, Kelly McGuinn, to watch him get inducted. Now, Bill?
You know, I'm so excited to introduce Kate. As I'm getting to know her more and more, I'm really just blown away by this young woman's autobiography, and I think she's going to be just an amazing member to our club. Her beautiful accent is from Poland. She was actually born in the Soviet Union in the country of Poland. Came here as got a degree in economics, came to U.S. in New Jersey for 3 years, came to Vegas, went to work for Bank of Nevada 18 years ago, and essentially has just grown up with the bank here. And she's just a dynamic person. Anybody who's had a chance to touch her, encounter her, probably realizes that. But I'm so thrilled to have Kate as a new member of our club. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. First of all, thank you, Bill, for bringing me to the greatest club ever. I am very excited. I'm very honored to be here. I look forward to meeting everyone and working with everyone. And I look forward to all the fun and so important things we do in the community. So I am very grateful for being accepted and being able to join the club. Thank you.
And as also mentioned, Kate has her husband Pedro here to watch her do this and know what she's actually doing. So with that in mind, we will begin. welcome to you, Kate and Austin, and we are pleased that you are joined by Kelly and with Pedro. I've got my back to the president, and yes, I'm sorry, for their induction into the club. Austin and Kate, you have been chosen and invited to membership in the Las Vegas Rotary Club because we feel you have the character qualifications of good Rotarians. Our invitation for you to join our club is an expression of our goodwill toward you and of our desire for closer friendships. Austin, from the moment we met, you jumped in with both feet, eager to move forward with an interview, completing and returning the application very fast, and attending every meeting since that time. And Kate, you too jumped in, helping to fill bags of Halloween candy after your very first meeting, and promptly moved forward with the membership process. Your induction into Rotary emphasizes the Rotary motto, service above self. This is the core and the heart and soul of Rotary. You will be provided with many opportunities to provide service to others through club service, international and vocational, community, and international service. We welcome your heart for service in joining our club and to engage in Rotary International's current theme, Rotary Opens Opportunities. Each of you is to exemplify and bring to Rotary the very best in your business or profession, and you will take back to your business or profession the best of Rotary, which we feel is the ideal of unselfish service, and what you will learn is the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? The pin you will receive, and if the sponsors would turn around and grab the pins off of their plaques and pin your members, is a symbol by which your fellow Rotarians and the community at large will recognize you as a Rotarian. And we watch the gentleman fumbling with the pins. Their bigger fingers don't work those things as well. And we ask that you wear that pin proudly. Ladies and gentlemen, whoops. That's okay. We're getting pinned. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure for me on behalf of the board of directors and the membership of the club to formally welcome you both. It is our sincere hope that your membership in Rotary will be one of the most rewarding things and experiences of your life. We extend a sincere and hearty welcome to the best Rotary Club in the world.
Okay, thank you. We need a smile mask. Thank you so much. Oh my God. Very, how special. Thank you so much. Thank you.
And moving right along, I see we have a number of people at the birthday table. And I don't think there are any Rotarians with a birthday in November who didn't sit at the table, except for Tony, who was with the new member. So, Bill, if you could take the microphone around to each of our birthday boys and girls so that they can.
There you go, Walt. Maybe it won't start there. No.
Apparently, we have a lot of shy birthday boys and girls.
Yeah, my birthday. Have a birthday. We got somebody.
Something bashful.
Put your mask on it. I'm supposed to tell you to put your mask on. Oh, yeah. I was instructed. I always do.
I don't want to mess up with your job.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. I'm Tom Thomas. I've been a member of this club now for 32 years.
Mm.
And Russ and I were just commenting that both of us were the product of Valentine's Day. My birthday's on the 13th, so do the math.
I get the whole.
My name is Walt Parrish. I've been a member of this club for 2.5 years now. Thank you very much. It's the greatest club in the world. And my birthday is November 7th. So I'm going to be 83. So let's get on with the party.
Tina?
All of us.
Yeah.
I've already said there's nobody here. Just stand up.
Oh, yeah, I guess I could do that.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
My name's Tina Bishop. I've been in the club 3 years, and I am honored and blessed to share my birthday with these folks and the rest of you. Thank you for having me.
Hi there, everybody. Anil Melnick here, and this is my 8th birthday that I'm celebrating in the club. And my birthday is on the 28th, and I'll be 54.
I'm holding it tight.
Fellow Rotarians and guests, it's Russ Swain here with GLB Insurance Group. I'm going to go ahead and make it good.
How do you
How
do?
do you do? I'm grateful to be part of this club. I've been a member for 26 years now. I'm a proud past president of this club. My birthday is November 12th, and I will be 59 years old. I'm grateful to be a Rotarian.
Bill, you want to take it over to Tony Kern right here?
Hi. I've been a member of the club for, gosh, I guess it's 3 years. I started in 2017, and my birthday's at the end of the month, and I'm going to be 66 proud years old. I get Social Security.
All right, Bill, can you lead us in a rousing round of happy birthday?
You gotta be kidding me.
You gotta be kidding. Yeah.
Okay, no, don't put it near me. You can just throw 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rotarians. Happy birthday to you. Now, I suppose we can't find Tony for not sitting at the birthday table since she was busy with new members, but I think we have one person at the birthday table who's not celebrating a birthday. And the last time we had to find somebody, I think I recall Rose's suggestion was we should make them buy tickets to the 25 Club raffle. So Rose, how many more tickets to the 25 Club raffle are available? Okay. So 5 times the number of remaining tickets? 5 tickets. Thank you for your donation. Just a quick reminder to RSVP. And if you have a visual that you want to present at the meeting, to please let our AV team know ahead of time so they can have it ready. Let's go to our Zoomers. Marie Walsh, did you have something to tell us about Breakfast with Books? You'll have to unmute yourself. You're still muted.
Okay, there we go. Is that good?
That's perfect.
Okay. Okay, as you all know, the children cannot go to Breakfast with Books, but that doesn't mean that the teachers are not out there still teaching the way they should. We have totals for you for a total of families and students that watch the video story, which is usually usually given out the day of Breakfast with Books. Now, the total we have for October was 168 people. So we have 209 people for September and 168 for October. That was the families and the children that watched the movie. The book distribution still goes on as the children go and pick up their meals. They pick up their books. This is the books that they are using to make their libraries. I also want to make mention that something wonderful has happened. Finally, the outdoor little libraries have been installed outside of Beckley. We waited a long time and the principal worked long and hard in getting this to happen. I'd like to give a big thank you to Jim Cole and Randy Donald for helping make this possible. The children will be using these libraries very shortly. I will let you know when they will be in use because Spread the Word is going to give the books out very shortly. As soon as I have the report, I will let you know. Thank you.
Marie, it's great to know that that's continuing. And let's see, Janice, did you want to tell us about the virtual auction?
Thank you. So the information's in the wheel every week, and we want to again thank our presenting sponsor, the Anderson Miller Pinkelman Group, Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Our supporting sponsors, Thomas and Mack, and Nevada State Bank, Rosalie. So we thank you for your continued support with our annual fundraising efforts. The virtual auction, you will receive a link. It will probably go out next week. It's very easy to operate. You have until the evening of our holiday party, December 3rd, to keep an eye on your auction items and keep the bids going. There's going to be everything from wine to trips to jewelry to art, just so much, something for everyone. There's going to be about 70 items. And then our club, again, has donated 12 items, and we're very thankful. And then the night of the holiday party, the virtual auction will close. And also we'll have some holiday baskets that Rose is putting together. She does such a beautiful job on baskets. So a lot of people have donated for the baskets. We haven't determined if we're going to make those into a raffle or how we're going to do that. But those are going to be very affordable, very nice items. So look for some more information.
And so, Janice, if, for example, our exchange student wanted to have his family back in Peru bid in the auction, is that possible?
So we can ship domestically only. So that's where we're just asking everyone to get it out to their colleagues. It could be anywhere in the U.S. That we can ship to. We just can't do anything internationally. Sorry.
So if he had a cousin in Peru, Indiana, that would be okay.
Yes, that would be
Just not
perfect.
the-
And
just
when
not
I
the
go to
country,
visit my
of course.
mom, I can actually drop it off.
Thank you. Anil, did you want to tell us about the holiday party? Where the virtual auction will be announced?
I'm happy to announce that the Las Vegas Rotary Club's holiday party is going to be held at Green Valley Ranch Resort on December 3rd from 6 to 10 p.m. And there are printed announcements which are available at the desk up front, and you'll also all be receiving a emailed invitation, and I hope everyone can attend. There's a great menu on site with a choice of short ribs, salmon, or a vegan impossible stuffed squash. So I think it's going to be a wonderful evening, and I hope that you all can attend. Oh, so it does have a futuristic theme, so futuristic attire, whatever that means to you. Okay.
All right. And the 25 Club canned food drive raffle is still going on. I don't see Renee up there. Rose, can you give us an update on that?
I'm like Russ Swain. I got to put my hands behind my back. Okay, so I'm not sure exactly how many tickets are left because I came in late, but I just bought 5 more, so there's probably less than that. So anyway, that's still ongoing, and we got to beat the Kiwanians. So please, if you haven't bought your tickets yet, buy some, and if you have, you can buy some more. Thank you.
And if you have already bought tickets, but you have coins clinking around in your pocket, on each of your tables, there's a can where you can also contribute to the canned food drive. I believe Kathy tells me last week you managed to empty out $70 worth of coins into the cans. So no pressure. And Jim, I can't see you, but I can see your name up there.
I'm here, Mr. President,
Santa Claus?
coming to you once again from the great northwest part of the Las Vegas Valley. Here to give you an update on Santa Claus. And although I'm usually coming to you with great news, I've got to say that I'm not quite sounding the panic alarm button yet, but I do need to reach out to all of you and make sure we all step up. Financially, we're doing pretty good. We're just a little bit behind, thanks to some very generous donations from some of the members of our club. But volunteer-wise, we are lagging behind where we usually are. This time last year, we had far more volunteers signed up for the shopping. And I know that we have some challenges, but we're going to shop as normal, as we've said. The kids won't be with us, but we're going to be shopping with their size charts and their wish lists. And to give you an idea, right now at the Grand Canyon Mall, for instance, we have 34 shoppers signed up. And of those, only 16 of them are from our own club. We're actually, for the very first time, being outnumbered by some of the other clubs. At the Galleria, we have 44 volunteers signed up and only 14 from our club. And at the Meadows, we only have 26 volunteers and 7 people signed up from our club. I think it's because a lot of you are certainly intending on carrying on the tradition, but haven't had a chance to sign up. But if you can send an email to Sean, let us know how many volunteers you're going to be bringing and at which mall. We desperately need to get those numbers up. This time last year, we had twice those totals that we normally have today. So this is a year that we have the demand is greater than ever. The need is greater than ever with everything that's gone on. We're looking to do a record shopping this year, but we need record volunteers too. So please seek out to let Sean know either verbally or by email. Let's get those numbers up. We really gotta get going on this if we can. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you. And rather than melt Sean's telephone, Stu, can people sign up on the virtual clipboard if they want to volunteer to shop?
I will have that up within an hour after the meeting ends today.
Thank you. So people can go to the virtual clipboard on our website and sign up for which mall they want to shop at.
Yep, just let us know how many you're going to be shopping, including yourself, and at which mall. We'll up those numbers hopefully right away.
Perfect. We are still selling Rotary face masks, and anybody that's ventured out of the house knows that every location in town has a sign on their front door saying face mask required to enter. So what better way to advertise to the world in a fashionable way that you're a Rotarian? What better way than to wear your Rotary face mask when you go out and about? And I'm happy to say that our club is still selling fashion forward Rotary face masks. So please stop by the table and see Sean on your way out if you don't already own at least a few Rotary face masks. You may have, I'm not sure what the timing on this was, but you may have received an email from Rotary International asking you to consider a gift annuity to the Rotary Foundation. And in addition to that, I believe Dan Adamson, can you tell us if a person wanted to set up a gift annuity to the Rotary Club of Las Vegas Foundation, do we have that in place today? Well, I see Dan there, but apparently maybe he stepped away. We'll check on that. So if any of you are inclined to put in place a gift annuity, a charitable gift annuity for yourself and ultimately benefiting Rotary, but aren't sure about doing it for the International Foundation, we will get back to you on whether our own foundation has that as available as well. Let's see. I know you're all getting anxious to know who won the pot today. So the winner of the chance to draw a joker is someone here in the room with ticket 8488756. 8488756. Well, come on down. Pick the joker. Sure. Look at the top. And hold it up for the. Did you get the consolation prize? Thank you. And for the Lowry Bucks, oh, it's also somebody here in the room. Sorry to the Zoomers. 8488923. 8488923. No takers, huh? Okay, let's try again. For the Lowry Bucks, 8488971. Ah, one of our guests. Well, I don't know. Looking at that face mask, I may have to find another way to describe these. That's even more fashionable. We trust you. So just hold it for the camera. One more. Thank you. You know what? Let me just make sure I have your name right so that we get it right in the wheel. Your first name?
Kelly, K-E-L-I.
K-E-L-I.
Yes, McGuinn, M-C-G-U-I-N-N.
you, I, and. Yep,
Perfect.
That's right.
You don't want to spell your name wrong on the wheel. And let's see, last but not least, do we have anybody here in the room who lives in the Solera Stallion Mountain community? And would you have any idea who was recently elected the president of that association?
Yes, that would be me. I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but I am now, as of last night at 9 o'clock, responsible for 833 homes. So.
All right. Well, I'm sure it's a blessing, and I'm sure you'd be happy to contribute $831, is that, to the Rotary Foundation? Thank you for your contribution. And for those of you who are fussy about the calendar, I apologize for the fact that this is November and we missed passing the polio pig in October, as we traditionally do, since October is Polio Plus month for Rotary. So if you will pardon our tardy pig that didn't make it here by the end of the month, we're going to pass the polio pig today and ask you, if you didn't already put your loose coins or your loose dollars in the can for the canned food drive, that you contribute it to our Polio Plus effort. We'll start it over here with Jerry. And if you would keep it moving through the rest of the meeting, that would be much appreciated. And I know you all wanted time for fellowship before the speaker starts, so you have 37 seconds. Go. No.
It's my privilege today to introduce our speaker. Dr. Melody Rose has a distinguished 25-year career in higher education. She was the first in her family to receive a college degree. She is passionate about improving educational opportunities for all, identifying cutting edge innovations and data driven, student focused change. Not that we need any of that around here. She's the author of 5 books on women in politics and higher education management, and she's the mother of 4 grown children and a former Rotarian. So please welcome Dr. Melody Rose.
Thank you very much, Katie, for the warm introduction, and thank you all for the kind invitation to be with you here today. I am a new Nevadan. I proudly cast my first Nevada ballot a few weeks ago, along with all of you, and tomorrow I'll become really legitimate when I get to the DMV and I have new plates on my car and a new driver's license. So it's a pleasure to be with you, and I thank you for the invitation and for all that you are doing in this community and internationally. I was pleased to be a Rotarian in Oregon for 5 years, and I deeply appreciate the work of this organization locally as well as internationally. So thank you. What I thought I would do this afternoon is just chat in very general terms about the structure of the Nevada system of higher education, and then get into a little bit around our goals and objectives as I found them when I arrived, and then conclude by talking with you about some of my vision for how we might move that work forward together as one state. So thank you again for listening, and I will make sure to save some time for questions because I'd love to hear from you and have dialogue. So thank you. Many of you, of course, have affiliation with one or more of our institutions, so I certainly don't need to give you a primer on all 8 of the institutions in the Nevada system of higher education, but I will just remark on the diversity of those institutions. You all know that our 2 universities have recently received R1 research intensive status, which is a major accomplishment for UNR and UNLV. That status drives innovation in our state. It will drive new business development in our state, and it will attract larger numbers of high achieving students into those institutions. So very important. We also, of course, have 4 community colleges within our system, 1 state college at NSC, and I understand there's someone from NSC here today. Nice to see you, sir. And we have the Desert Research Institute, which is a unique institute really focused on international research at a premier level. They are not a degree granting institution, but every bit is integral to what we are doing around workforce development and education in our state. I just wanted to point out what those institutions were because they are the reason I came here. And I have to tell you that with over 100,000 students and one of the most diverse populations of students in the United States, I believe we have a tremendous opportunity to build on that strength and set a model for the nation in terms of how we deliver high quality, inclusive education for all. The second reason I decided to throw my hat in the ring for this opportunity is because we have a unique opportunity in that our system combines 2-year community colleges with 4-year degree granting institutions. And that detail is really important for you to understand because it's one of the ways in which we are able to drive the cost and time to degree is by combining our 2- and 4-year institutions into one whole system allows us to really streamline transitions for our students, which is imperative to getting them out into the workforce, into innovation, and contributing to their communities. So these are 2 features of this system that I think are incredible strengths from which to build. Of course, there's been a lot of conversation recently, as we are all aware, about the governance structure of the Nevada system of higher education. And I just wanted to lay a foundation for a conversation we may have later at the end of my remarks. So many of you know, in fact, some of you I understand have served on the NSHE Board of Regents. There are 13 elected regents. We are currently embedded in the state constitution, and that structure is a constitutional provision. 9 of the 13 regents are here in the Clark County region and elected by voters like us. In terms of our real institution level governance, however, one of the quirks or special qualities of higher education is that we craft a governance structure that is inherently inclusive. So I will tell you that I meet with students, staff, faculty, all on a very regular basis, and they provide what is called shared governance in the development of our goals, in working together to make policy. It is a unique environment in higher education. Some would argue that it slows down our decision making, that we are so inclusive. I would argue, having spent 25 years in this arrangement, that it provides for better decision making and more buy-in once decisions are made, because you know that by the time you get to decisions, your faculty are on board, your students are on board. So it's a unique quality of higher education. What you may not know is at the system level, we have 5 major strategic goals for all 8 of our institutions. And I want to just touch on them very briefly so that you understand the kind of change that we are trying to drive within our system of higher education. The first of those will be no surprise to you. It is a goal around access, getting more high school and adult students into our institutions of higher learning must be a goal. It must be an imperative. We know, for example, and this is one of the uniquenesses of the state of Nevada that I've come to understand, that our participation rate in higher education among 18 to 24-year-olds is the lowest in the nation. And all of you understand the drivers for that, and I am coming to appreciate those drivers. The fact that so much of the economy has been driven by high-paying jobs on the strip that don't necessarily require a higher education is a major contributor to that data point. However, we know that the economy must diversify, and that with that diversification will come a change in credentialing and a change in worker preparedness. So access is the #1 goal for us. The second strategic goal among the 5 set by our Board of Regents is student success. So it's one thing, of course, to bring students into your institutions. It's another thing to make sure that they persist and they complete their program of study. And here is one of the things that I would argue I am most passionate about. Higher education nationally has a fairly low success rate in a 6-year graduation rate. It is something that we need to take ownership of. It is something we need to be candid about in order to solve that challenge. And so one of the things that the presidents and I will be looking at very closely is, where do we lose our students? Why do we lose our students? And how can we bring strategic focus and resources to those breaking points? And only then will we really truly succeed, when we get all of our students across the finish line in a timely way. Thirdly, our third strategic goal is around closing the achievement gap. So of course, we want every student who matriculates to complete his or her degree. And we know that when we look at our data sets, there are some student populations that are statistically more likely to persist and complete their degrees than others. And I think we have a moral imperative to look at those gaps in achievement by population and focus in on understanding the reasons why. Nationally, we know that students who come from more challenged economic backgrounds, first-generation college students like myself, are much less likely to complete their degrees than students coming from middle and upper middle class families with college-educated parents. I can tell you my 4 children will complete their degrees, and they will complete them on time. So really focusing in on this achievement gap, I would argue, is not just an economic imperative, right? We don't want students dropping out midway with debt but no degree. And it is also a moral imperative. When we bring students into our institutions and they drop out, we need to change the conversation and stop asking why they failed and start asking ourselves, how did we fail them? And that's the change in focus that we need to make if we are going to close the achievement gap for all students in the state of Nevada. Our fourth strategic goal is around workforce development. And this has been a strategic goal since long before the COVID epidemic hit. But you can only imagine the urgency around this goal has escalated for all of the reasons that we appreciate. In this regard, I would argue that our community colleges are frontline workers. These are the institutions that are developing short-term programs to deal explicitly with worker retraining, with worker upskilling, and for preparing the workforce for the jobs that will be here. And this is where we really need business involvement. I will criticize my own industry by saying so frequently in the history of higher education in America, we academics have developed wonderful degrees that took us 3 years to get through an approval process, only to find that they're not the degrees that industry actually needed. So working with folks like all of you who are employers, who understand what your industries need, we will be putting together with our partners in industry, with our partners in government in the next several weeks, a workforce strategy from NSHE that will develop short-term programming specifically for the economic opportunities that exist and that will exist in the near future. And we will need your help on that agenda. Fifth and finally, the Board of Regents established a strategic goal around research. And I understand that oftentimes when academics talk about research, it sounds ethereal, it sounds impractical, and I'm here to tell you that if you're left with that impression, I would encourage you to visit the Desert Research Institute, which is solving real world problems today in our state, for our state, and around the globe. And their impact, of course, leads to tech transfer, the creation of new business opportunities, and the development of knowledge that we have to have if we're going to solve the really pressing problems of our contemporary world. Those are the 5 strategic goals. And they were developed about 3 years ago at the Nevada System of Higher Education under the leadership of my predecessor, Tom Riley, whom some of you I'm sure know. And it was a great step forward for our institutions, but we need to do more. So I want to turn my remarks now to a few comments about how we're going to build on that foundation and move it forward and accelerate the good work that we are doing. Actually, we will be starting this work, launching this vision a week from today, when all 8 presidents will be carving out a full day retreat with me. We will be convening, and thank you to UNLV. We will all be convened on the UNLV campus in a day-long retreat in order to take those 5 strategic goals and build out the strategies that are needed to achieve them and the targets to hold ourselves accountable to them. So this is the way that we get the work done, and this is the work we will be accountable and transparent to all of you to whom we bear responsibility for our work. That's essentially where we are headed. I can tell you there are a few very special projects that are top of my list, and you will be hearing me talking about them in the coming weeks and months. And so I'll share just a skeleton of those projects with you now. I believe that the success of higher education is intrinsically tied to the success of our K-12 system. In every place in this nation, you will see higher educational institutions succeed when the students being produced from K through 12 are prepared and motivated and transfer into our institutions successfully. So I have initiated a conversation with my colleagues in the K through 12 system to identify places where our work is mutually reinforcing and where we can solve problems together faster than if we try to do it alone. And there are two areas in which I have initiated a conversation with our state superintendent, local superintendent. One of these is around what we call dual credit. These are programs where high school students get college level education while matriculated at their high school. And you can imagine this inspires them to go to college. It accelerates their credential. It accelerates and lowers the cost of their degree. So this is a very important program that is already in place across the state, but it isn't scaled and it isn't consistent. And so we will be working hand in glove to make sure that we implement dual credit for the state of Nevada. Secondly, also working with my partners in K through 12, as you all know, we have a teacher shortage in this state. And we have had a teacher shortage in this state, as I understand it. And the state superintendent tells me that she needs over 2,000 new teachers produced per year. And she institutions are working very hard, but at this point, producing only about 800, which means that we are hiring from outside of the state instead of hiring from our own communities, teachers who look like our children, who have the same culture and background as our children, and who understand where our children come from. So we will be working very hard on scaling the work of our education programs to meet the need of this employment sector and to grow our own. The other major project that we will be working on, also a project that is rooted in partnership, and you'll hear that this is a big theme from me. We certainly achieve more when we do it together, is how do we deal with the digital divide? We knew there was a digital divide in education before COVID happened, but COVID has put a particular spotlight on this problem. So when you think about not just the children in our communities who are challenged with distance education, but the 100,000 students in NSHE institutions who have uneven access to high-speed internet, who maybe don't have a safe, quiet place to study and do their work, we have a lot of work to do around this digital divide, or all the work that we have accomplished to create greater access to our institutions will be for naught. So I've also initiated a conversation with Cox Communication around how we can partner with this corporate entity in order to achieve mutual goals. So you will also be hearing more from us about this emergent conversation and partnership to close the digital divide. And finally, it won't surprise you, probably the thing that we are spending the most time on right now is directly related to the pandemic. So we really have multiple crises. As you all know, we are all living it. But the ongoing pandemic continues to create challenges for our institutions, both in terms of the health of our communities, which is something we're all working on, and now, of course, the cascade effect of this disaster is on our budgets. And so you may know we produced our budgets for our 8 institutions, submitted them to the governor last August. And of course, now we're beginning to see the contours of revenue shortfalls across our state. And we are going to have to make, just like everyone else, very difficult decisions. And all I can say to you is that we are going to do that in a collaborative manner. We are going to be good partners to the state legislature, knowing that those public servants are facing very difficult decisions in the coming session. And we too will be making some very tough decisions. So the board has set up a special committee to deal with long-term fiscal sustainability issues. In my preference, my bias is to make decisions based on strategy, make decisions based on pulling ourselves closer together to be efficient, to scale our resources to the best of our ability, and to try our very best to hold students harmless during this difficult time. The last thing I'll comment on, and then I'd love to turn it over for a couple of questions, is I've already gotten a few questions from you. Of course, it doesn't surprise me about question 1 on the ballot. And all I can share about question 1, and I do this very sincerely, is to say that I came here and I get up every day to serve 100,000 students in the state of Nevada. And that is our mission. That is the work that we do each and every day. If the people of Nevada decide to make a change to our structure, our focus will remain the same. Our focus will continue to be on student success, and we will work collaboratively with the legislature and the governor and other interested parties to make this the absolute best and strongest system of higher education we possibly can. So with that, Mr. President, maybe I can turn it over to a question or two.
I'll note that Michael Gordon had a question he posted on Zoom, and I have one as well, in addition to any that are in the room.
Go ahead, Stu. Stu, do you want to go ahead with your question and Michael's question before we take the questions in the room?
Okay, well, I'll read Michael's since it came up first. He said, "How do you think the proposed furloughs for NSHE employees will affect morale as well as service to students? For example, teaching, registration, class sizes." And then after she answers that, I'll ask my question.
Thank you for asking that question. So you all may know we've been asked by the legislature through statute to absorb 6 furlough days for the remainder of our fiscal year. So January through June is the implementation. And that's roughly a 4.6% salary decrease. And of course, it's difficult. It's difficult for our employees, particularly our frontline staff who don't have large salaries to begin with. Our adjunct faculty, for example, will be hard hit by that. So of course it's difficult, but I think we also understand that we all have to do our part in this challenging moment. What I would say is that there are some quirks about how furloughs get applied to higher education that are quite challenging. So for example, many of our research faculty aren't paid by the state. So many of our research faculty are paid through major federal grants. But the way in which the statute is written, it was written with the intention that it be applied similarly to all employees, no matter the source of their salary. So unfortunately, there are some quirks that are particularly challenging in higher education. If you've got a researcher on a major NIH grant, for example, to take that cut means we're just leaving those federal dollars on the table and we're not gaining anything on the state side of the ledger. So there are some quirks. You know, these are details I hope to have a conversation about with the legislature in 2021 if we're going to continue with furloughs beyond that first 6 months. So thank you for the question.
So if I could ask one, starting with a comment. So I've been working part-time when I'm not busy with my day job as a substitute teacher. It gives me kind of a unique perspective because I've been in both elementary, middle, and high school at a whole bunch of different schools. And I submit that the problem is not budget, it's not class size, it's not even the individual teachers, but the incredible variation seems to me to be more to the management, the principals associated with the different schools. And we have adopted 3 schools here in the Rotary Club with amazing principals who achieve amazing results. But from what I understand, the labor unions and the various bureaucracy associated with the county has actually prevented them from putting in competent principals and administrators. One of the solutions to that, when I live in the Boston area, was the schools were put in receivership and they were taken over by the colleges. In this case, the town of Revere and Boston University, and they immediately turned it around. Is there any discussion or thought to having the higher education system intervene and take over the operation of some of these failing schools here in Clark County?
There is no conversation along those lines that I am aware of.
So you had alluded to, or actually indicated that, the fact that there's high-paying jobs on the Strip is one of the biggest factors that works against people trying that they don't need an income or they don't need education to make high-paying jobs. You had talked about bringing other industries in. So what are we looking at there? What do we already have inroads? What other industries are you looking at bringing into Southern Nevada to help with these higher degrees?
Thank you for the question. And I guess I want to clarify the role of higher education in that effort. So our job, I would argue, is to be responsive to industry needs. And so where I think we play a part is that, higher education can be an incredible convener. It's sort of what we do to bring people across the aisle with different perspectives and life experiences to the same table to tackle difficult problems. So one of the things I've done in the early weeks here in my job is to initiate conversations with organizations that are in the workforce ecosystem in Nevada. And of course, I'm still getting to know these folks. So, you think about LVGEA, GoEd, Owen, other organizations that are very focused on workforce development and diversification of our economy. What I want to do is work in partnership with them as they are the ones identifying new industries for the region, partnering with them to make sure that as we're doing that, we are building up our educational capacity to support that effort. And for that, you really need a statewide economic development program. And so we are going to be talking to all of our partners and contributing as appropriate to that effort.
Enough about all this serious education stuff. What are we going to do about, for everybody that watched the football game last weekend and gritted their teeth every time the national sportscasters would say UNLV this or UNLV that, but when it was UNR, it was always Nevada, Nevada. When are we ever going to get that straightened out?
Well, I would say you have two new presidents at those institutions who are working very collaboratively together. And I would ask them that question.
Well, thank you very much for a wonderful presentation. And our habit is, rather than give you some additional trinket to put on a shelf, we make a contribution in your name to the USO Community Service Program.
Oh, thank you. That's very thoughtful.
Now we're going to be photographed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks
That was
for
a great
inviting
presentation. Last but not least, as you recall, we don't pass the clipboard, the paper clipboards around anymore. They're at the table. So if you didn't have a chance to sign up for something on your way in, please stop at the table and sign up on your way out. If you didn't have a chance to buy a mask on your way in, please stop and buy many masks on your way out. And with that, meeting adjourned.
Bye, Zoomers.
Bye, everybody. Take care. Have a good week. Stay out of trouble.
Bye, everybody.